Hey everyone, so today is an exciting day because I've got a whole new set of brakes and brake components that I'm going to be putting on my mountain bike.
Hey everyone, future me here. I thought I should let you know that I ended up removing these Hope brakes from my bike after about 3 weeks of trial and error. The power and feel was great, but they just squeak like crazy. It wasn't the typical howling or screeching, but it kind of sounded like a constant squeaky door anytime I was on the brakes. I attempted numerous times to center the caliper, ensure the pistons were pushing the pads to the rotor equally, and I got 3 new sets of pads and a new set of rotors, but the squeaking still was there. Pad and rotor clearance was so tight that it was virtually impossible to get the rotors not to rub at least a tiny bit. I couldn't hear it when I was riding, but I could hear it in the stand spinning the wheel. I also took it to 2 different bike shops, but they weren't able to fix the squeaking or rubbing. I still wanted to post a video to help you guys, and hopefully you have better luck with these brakes than I did. They did feel sweet while I was running them.
Before we get to that, let's see what we're working with. Picked up this Park Tool piston pusher thing. I think it's slightly overpriced. Also picked up this Tektro brake hose cutter, barb pusher thing. The barb goes into the bottom, just like push it down and this holds it or something. Picked up this Hope brake bleed kit. I'm sure I'll need it sometime in the future, so I picked that up. I've got not one, but 2 180 to 203 post mount adapters. Also picked up SRAM MMX mount shifter for the Hope brakes. Also picked up the 1UP normal clamp because I have a 1UP MMX clamp and I didn't know if that was gonna work with the new brakes. And I picked up not one, but 2 Hope 203mm floating disc rotors. This is the left front. This is the lever, as well as the caliper. I'm gonna leave the caliper in the bubble wrap for now. Open up the rear one, but it's just the same, just the longer hose, I think, on it. That's, I think, everything I need to get this thing started. All right, so I think this whole front brake and dropper lever section is gonna be pretty straightforward to take off, so we'll start with the front first. Then to remove the SRAM MMX clamp, I think you need a T25. For this cable holder thing on the fork, I think you need a 2.5mm. And with the hose holder removed from the fork, I'm just gonna take off the caliper and the post mounts, and I think we should be done with the front brake. Just using a 5mm for this. So now the fun part begins. I don't think any fluid's supposed to spill out right now, as long as I don't pull the lever. I think all you do is put the wrench on this thing and unscrew it. Just a tiny bit of fluid at the end. Now, I'm gonna have to try to get through the frame. Honestly, I think the easiest way is just to cut this rubber piece. I'm sure I can just buy another one of these or not use it or put some tape around it or something if I need it. So that's what I'm gonna do, because I really don't want to take any of this stuff off. Oh, that got pretty easy. And there she goes, she's off. All right, so here's my thought process. End of the hose isn't that big, so I think I can just fit it through routing cable thingies here. Unscrew the 2.5mm there. There's one in the back that's more of a pain to get to right down there. There you go, and it's out. Oh, here's the piece that was holding it on. Pretty massive hole in the frame, so I think I can just slide the whole hose back out through it. I ended up taking off this back wheel, and I think we're spinning, so I think we're good. So here's the retaining piece with that 2.5mm. Finally got some success. I just moved this left side out because that's the only one I need to be moved. Pried it with the screwdriver, then used a 3mm hex to kind of push it out the rest of the way. So hopefully I can slide the brake hose all the way through. The nice thing about this bike, in-frame storage, you can see shifter, dropper, and the brake hose all run through here. So I ended up snipping all the cable ties. It was going good, but I'm gonna have to snip the ones in here too. Look at that, rear brake plan is out. Didn't have to remove any of this stuff. All right, but now we're on to the fun part. I'm gonna start with the front one, just because I think it'll be easier. The lever takes a 4mm. the lever and the shifter mounted. Mount right here I had on the right side. That's what it was made for, but it was way too close to the grip, so I just changed it to the left side. And now the spacing is much better. I think it's time to put on the post mount adapter. I think it goes like this on it. I don't know if I need the washers because it came with washers in the thing. They go in between the caliper and these bolts. I looked at the instructions and they didn't say anything, so for now I'm just gonna put them on without the washers. Alright, so the plan right now is to bring the hose all the way back to the back of the bike, feed it up through here, poke out somewhere here, it'll come out here, then I'll reconnect it over to the lever. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. After like 30 minutes of trying to get this stupid brake hose through, I just ended up kind of shoving it in and like wiggling around and pushing it more. So it comes down here and then, ta-da, we are out of the compartment right now. So now I'm just gonna put it back in and try to get it out through here, and hopefully that all goes to plan. So I wasn't able to get this hose through this opening, but I got some floss, just kind of pushed it down through there, and I'm gonna try to tie it to this and pull it through. We have emerged. I broke the floss, so I had to wiggle the hose around a bunch to get it through this part, and I put a light in there so I could see what I was doing. Very happy now. I think I might need to top up the fluid here. I lost a little when I unscrewed 8mm thing here. T10 Torx. Watching the video on Hope's YouTube channel just is telling me to flick the lever a few times. If there's any air in the system, it'll rise to the top. I'm gonna tap the hose a few times. Grabbing the tiny little thing of dot fluid. In the video they say that when you put the reservoir cap back on, it'll spill everywhere. Yep, good amount came out. Now I am going to align the caliper, and I'll take the pads out with a 3mm once I remove this clip first. Alright, so now I've got the pistons pushed back fully. So now all I'm going to do is pull the rear brake lever and then see if any of the 4 pistons are moving slower than the others or faster than the others. I'm going to have to move the camera because I really can't see because it's right on top of it.
Forgot to say here, be very careful not to push the pistons out too far, or the pistons will fall out and you'll have to do a full bleed. Ask me how I know.
Alright, so as you guys can see, this left front piston is coming out a lot faster than all the other ones. I'll push the front ones back in and see if I can get these back ones to move out and maybe lubricate them a little bit. Alright, so I gave up on my previous attempts of not using the pads. Push them back and forth and see if I can get them working. Okay, so after a little while, I finally got the pistons to more or less come out at the same time. The rear ones is still a little lazy, so I might work on it a little longer. I'm gonna move on to the front caliper. We'll go and put the rotors on the wheels. And the rotor is installed. The rotor is pretty centered in there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.